All right, what is up, YouTube and 40? We're going to be smashing through a good chunk of deck profiles coming out. I believe we have a UDS, Argentina Regionals, there's a YCS that was worth talking about as well. But we've got 3 deck lists we're going to be plowing through today, at least for the first part of this video. So, first list we're going to be looking at is 60 card Paleo, and that's right, like I didn't stutter. We have 60 card. Actually, last week we had a regional complete, and we actually it was a week or two back that we had Paleo do something, and it was really cool to see that the deck was still beating. But here we are yet again, but this time with a spin on the concept of 60 cards. So I like the 60 card variant. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Robbie, like, you don't understand like why some of the cards are as good as they are. That's fine. It's still, you play massive traps, you stun your opponent deck while building immense resources, right? This build actually, I'm intrigued by his extra additional monsters. 3 Inspector Border is actually really cool, and also seeing Mathman in here for dump ability is actually really cool. So let's dig on into this bad boy, shall we? So we have 2 copies of Absolute King Backjack. Honestly, getting that tutor ability for trap cards is really good. I mean, considering that 22 cards in your deck are not traps, which, I mean, doesn't really conflict with things, you'll be fine outside of that. We have triple copies of Dupe Frog, triple copies of Inspector Border, 2 Mathman, 2 copies of Ronin Toad, and triple copies of Ye Olde Swap Frog. And then we have triple card Demise, triple Desires. I'm definitely a fan for having draw power in the deck. I can understand why certain builds don't want to include draw power in the deck. It's just kind of, I almost want to say player preference, but I'm probably going to get reamed for that. We have 1 copy of Breakthrough Skill. This almost kind of seems like it's been a staple for a while now in this deck. We have Triple Compulse because chain ability is really good. We have 2 copies of Fiend Grafing. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then we get to mill a Fiend, but no, we never really get to do that. We have triple copies of Heavy Storm Duster, 1 in Pro Order for win cons. Triple copies of probably the best card in the deck, Lost Win. We have triple copies of Candina, triple copies of Dynamiscus, 2 copies of Lenka, 2 triple copies of Morella, triple copies of Volanoides, triple copies of Reckless Greed, 1 Solemn Judgment, triple Strike, 1 Solemn Warning, and triple Trap Trick. I'm also really happy to know that this is still the only deck in the format besides Chainburn that actually is still playing Reckless Greed. And it's really good to see that Reckless Greed is still seeing play. What is it, 105 years after its time? The extra deck here, we have 2 copies of Miss Starboy, 1 Link Krebo, 1 Link Spider, 1 Phoenix, 1 Borrelsword, 1 Borreload, triple copies Totally Awesome, 1 copy of Opa Benia, 1 copy of Anomalicus, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Violet Chimera, and 1 Dragostopalia. The side deck here, oh, wow, we are playing 1 Performapal Rainbow Magician. So, what? So, Pendulum Effect, you cannot Pendulum Summon, except for the next deck. This effect cannot be negated. Each player applies 1 of these effects based on the number of set cards they control. So 0, all monsters they control cannot attack. 4 more, the attack of all monsters they control becomes double. Okay. If either player sets a spell or trap card while this card is in your graveyard, except during damage step, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. We are literally just playing this to not allow our opponent to attack or activate their effects. And, oh my god, this is broken. That's really cool. We have triple copies of Scattershot. We've seen this before in Paleo. It's actually kind of cool to see that it came back. 1 copy of Super Poly and 1 copy of the Scattershot Reload. Triple copies of Dark Bribe for just making sure that our opponent doesn't mess up our back row or any detrimental effects to us. Triple copies of Rivalry because additional floodgates. And we have triple Royal Prison. Monsters cannot be summoned from the graveyard. It's actually really spicy. This whole side deck is really spicy, but Performapal 5 Rainbow Magician coming out and seeing play in Paleo. Huh, I'll be damned. I didn't actually think I would ever see this, but congratulations to this young 60 card Paleo player. Like, it's really cool to see that this deck is alive and beating. Moving on along. I believe that this was top 32 at YCS, or UDS Mundellen. So we have a little bit of love back to the Lunalight engine. Actually, this kind of just fell off the face of the earth after Chicago. I don't know what actually happened. Oh yeah, the format shifted. But I know a few people tried this. A lot of people just didn't try it. And here we are back again with Lunalight Danger actually seeing play. Now this is a much smaller Danger engine than I think I remember actually ever seeing in this deck. But, you know, it doesn't really matter per se because we still have the best ones in the deck. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 copies of the Dangerous Mothman, 2 copies of the Dangerous Nessie, triple copies of the Dangerous Jackalope, 2 copies of the Dangerous Tsuchinoko, triple copies of Effect Filler. I'm glad to see that these are the only 2 hand traps that this deck is playing, though. We have 1 copy of Ye Olde Black Sheep, 1 copy of Emerald Bird, triple copies of Kaleido Chick, 1 copy of the Purple Butterfly, triple copies of Lunalight Tiger, 1 Lunalight Wolf, and 2 copies of Yellow Martin. And then for spells, very standard actually. We have triple Tenki, triple copies of Foolish Burial Goods, triple copies of Perfume, triple copies of Twin Twister, and 1 copy of the Serenade Dance. I mean, outside of that, the main deck looks very, very standardized for what I would be expecting. The ratios look weird to me on this, but that's because I probably don't understand what he was going for here. But more towards the pure Lunalight side of things, which is pretty interesting. The extract, we have 1 Wheat Witch's Apprentice, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Phoenix, 1 Firefighting Darumidal, 1 Curious, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Time Thief Redoer, 1 Nyarla, 1 Azeroth. Once again, like, this is your essential win con in certain matchups. We have 1 copy of Exciton, 1 Tiger King, 1 copy of Dweller, 1 Panther Dancer, and 1 copy of Leo. Ye Olde Prankatops at 3, 2 Phantasmi, 2 Radion, 1 Violet Chimera, 1 Starving Venom, 2 Hatronid, 1 Super Poly, and triple copies of Ye Olde Evenly Matched. I miss Rusty Tin Can being such a fun card in today's format, but nonetheless, interesting deck list coming out of the UDS, at least making top 32. Definitely, I don't know, it's Lunalights. It's the meme dream. Last but not least today, we have Guru Control back at it again. Now, talk about a deck that just doesn't care about interactivity in the format. I'm definitely intrigued to see that we have started playing DD Crow in this deck. Also, the fact that we have double Effect Veiler in here is not a bad thing. I mean, okay, so like you have 3, 6, 8, 10 hand traps built into the main deck, and then, you know, you've got your standardized 3 floodgates, and you got 3 more floodgates in the side. And of course, you are already maining Super Paul. Oh my god, this deck is so dumb. Like, this is literally the deny your opponent to play the game deck starring Floodgate. So, we have triple copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of DD Crow. DD Crow is still really good right now. I think a lot of people still underestimate the power that this card actually has in the format. That spot removal for anything, for a quick effect, is still really good. Fucking like 12 years later. We have 2 copies of Effect Failure, 1 copy of Mastrix, triple copies of Ye Olde Fiendus, 2 triple copies of Guru, and 1 copy of Nemesis Archer. I know I said a while back I liked 2 Nemesis Archer. I still do. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, the 1-1 ratio has become so standardized across all builds that you can't really argue at this point. Spells, we have triple Called by the Grave, only 2 copies of Duality, but I mean, Duality's once per turn, Extravaganza's once per turn. It's just, you want to make sure that you see this and not necessarily this. Because remember, this is the beginning of the turn. We have 1 copy of Super Poly, actually very good tech choice. I don't think we've seen this in the main, really, for Subterror up until this point. I mean, that's not a bad thing. It just means that players are adapting to this strategy, and I definitely like this. Now, we have 2 copies of Terraforming, triple copies of Ye Olde Hidden City, 1 copy of Imperial Order, 1 Judgment, triple Strike, triple Final Battle, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Titan, 2 copies of Starving Venom, triple Violet Chimera, 2 Dragostapalia, 2 Rocket Ride, 2 Mud Dragon, 1 Duplexer, 1 Mega Fleet, and 1 Fortress Dragon. Side deck, we have triple Lancia, triple Prankatops, triple Evenly Matched, triple Stormduster, and triple Summon Limit, bringing this list to a close. I mean, Subterror is still a very good anti-meta rogue deck. It's just on a regional level and things like that, like, that's where this deck is going to shine, oddly enough. Like, it takes, I want to say, decent skill and things to play this deck. I just don't know if people want to commit to something like this. Because, you know, you could still play Sky Striker and other things out here, have a more consistent rate. It's just the stun players want to come out and play a deck like this. You guys know what I mean? Guys, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about these deck lists. I have plenty more deck lists from the weekend as well that we'll be covering this week as well. Alright guys, take care. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.